What parenting trend you strongly disagree with? Putting your child's life on the social media. And monetizing it. Putting your child's life on the social media. Recording your children when you punish them. That's private, not for the public. Anything posted on the internet lasts forever. And children are cruel, wait until at school see. They will carry that their entire lives. The cyberbullying was coming from inside the house. Recording your children when you punish them. That's private, not for the public. Anything posted on the internet lasts forever. And children are cruel, wait until at school see. They will carry that their entire lives. Overprotection. Kids need to slowly, safely learn to manage risk, and that means that they must take risks. Not letting kids learn this hurts them as adults, and preparing kids for lives as adults is really what parenting is all about. Last year I taught my son about risk versus reward. He always raced down the hill from school, and it made me nervous because the sidewalk has big cracks in it and some of the pieces stick up a little bit. I told him I don't want him to run because I'm afraid he'll fall, but it's up to him. Is the reward of running worth the risk of falling? He decided it was, and one day he walked in, sobbing, because he had fallen and hurt himself. Once I had comforted him and cleaned him up, I asked if it was worth it, and he said yes lol. Overprotection. Kids need to slowly, safely learn to manage risk, and that means that they must take risks. Not letting kids learn this hurts them as adults, and preparing kids for lives as adults is really what parenting is all about. Overscheduling activities. When I was teaching, I remember my kindergartners telling me they had no time to play because every day consisted of non-stop structured sports, dance and such. When I was teaching, I had an 8-year-old student who kept falling asleep in class. We found out it was because Dad was getting him up at 5 for sports practice. Overscheduling activities. When I was teaching, I remember my kindergartners telling me they had no time to play because every day consisted of non-stop structured sports, dance and such. Not letting their kids make mistakes. Oversharing stuff about your kids on social media. A picture of little Johnny's poop in the potty is not cute, it's disgusting. You wouldn't post a picture of your own feces in the toilet. Doesn't make any difference coming from a 2-year-old. I had a former coworker tell me her 2-year-old daughter found her clit. I feel so disgusting just typing that. She has no filter IRL or online. Edit. The little girl found her own, not her mom's. Oversharing stuff about your kids on social media. A picture of little Johnny's poop in the potty is not cute, it's disgusting. You wouldn't post a picture of your own feces in the toilet. Doesn't make any difference coming from a 2-year-old. Making your child terrified to fail. I gave up on so many things because I repeatedly got called fucking idiot if I wasn't instantly an expert. Not saying no to your children. I don't understand the logic. Setting behavioral boundaries and maintaining those boundaries through black and white logic makes perfect sense to me. Parents who give their children the silent treatment, going hours, days, or longer without speaking, making the children feel guilty, ashamed, and confused about what the real problem is instead of dealing with it openly and forthrightly. Extremely strict rules in general. I had a childhood friend that came over after school once and he said he had to be home by 6. Didn't think much of it, so we lost track of time playing games. He lived about a 10-minute walk up the street and he noticed it was 5:52, then started freaking out. My dad's gonna kill me if I'm late. I tried saying he wouldn't care about 2 minutes. The next day in school my friend said he wasn't allowed over my house anymore, and I never hung out with him again, all over this kid being 2 minutes late getting home. I don't think I would have thought of it when I was a kid, but reading a situation like this now, it just screams abuse of some kind. Extremely strict rules in general. I had a childhood friend that came over after school once and he said he had to be home by 6. Didn't think much of it, so we lost track of time playing games. He lived about a 10-minute walk up the street and he noticed it was 5:52, then started freaking out. My dad's gonna kill me if I'm late. I tried saying he wouldn't care about 2 minutes. The next day in school my friend said he wasn't allowed over my house anymore, and I never hung out with him again, all over this kid being 2 minutes late getting home. Over busying children. Play doesn't mean playdate. Play doesn't have to mean organized sport. Your child doesn't need to have scheduled activities 4 to 6 times a week. Knock that shit off. Disciplining children based on what other parents are doing. What works for one kid won't work for others. Letting your 2-year-old get addicted to a screen. Actively encouraging children to use devices so parents are free to use their device in peace. Mothers tell their kids, especially daughters, if he bullies you, he likes you. My parents did it on me and my first boyfriend cheated and dumped me. Parents prioritizing being a friend instead of a parent. They then are shocked when their kid doesn't listen to them at all. Allowing your child to watch screens, tablets, phones, with loud sounds and no headphones on public transport. WTF. Never apologizing to your child about any mistakes you make out of avoidance of seeming weak. My mom did that to me all the time and it has made me feel like I always owed someone an apology because everything was my fault, while I would never expect an apology from someone else, even if I deserve one. As a teenager, I absolutely hate how family members will spill private secrets and constantly complain and make jokes about you on the telephone or when families gather. Also responding to you in a very snotty attitude. I think that's a big reason I am insecure and have social anxiety. Not using sugar when making Kool-Aid. That shit was nasty. The one gift policy for birthdays. I saw someone on Reddit the other day ask another Redditor if they even raised kids because the other Redditor didn't agree with giving their child's sibling a gift on their birthday so they wouldn't throw a fit. They even argued that it wasn't appeasement because you only do it for a few years. The only thing that does is teach your child that they're entitled to a gift on someone else's birthday. I have 3 kids, and my youngest 2 are twins. They were born the week before Christmas, and for the first few years it was very difficult for my oldest to wrap her head around the fact that it seemed like they got more presents than her that month. Each year, we would patiently explain to her that their birthday was a day to celebrate them, and they didn't get gifts for her birthday in September. It took her a few years to understand, but we never appeased her with an extra gift on their day. It was a lesson she had to learn, and now that all of them are older, they all love celebrating each other's birthdays. The "yes mom," where you never tell your kids no. I saw a lot of those working at Starbucks. It's 6 and your 6-year-old is screaming their brains out? Yup, you can have all the cakes and sweet treats. It's 8 p.m. and your small child is wailing for coffee? Sure, sweetie, whatever you want. This is how Karens are made, As someone who works in daycare. Late potty training. I'm not talking about a child who is struggling or a child with additional needs. I'm talking about a child who could have been potty trained a year ago, but I'm still changing their diapers. COVID hasn't helped either. The idea is that we aren't going to push children to potty train when they aren't ready, as it can lead to issues later in life like constipation. Which I agree with it. What it has turned into. My entire class of 3s is in diapers. The 4s class now has a changing table and diaper genie. My girlfriend who teaches kindergarten has several kids who are still in pull-ups. Once again, these aren't children who are generally struggling or have medical issues. These are kids who've begged to potty train, but mom tells me, "Oh, I just don't think they're ready yet, we don't want to rush it." Guilt tripping or being embarrassed to talk about sex and puberty. My wife and I are basically neighborhood pariahs because we allow our children to ride their bikes around our quiet, low-crime suburban town. I've had a parent flat out tell me he won't allow his son to come over without him because I might do something crazy like let them shoot hoops on the basketball net out front without standing there watching them. Children need a little bit of freedom. You can't be expected to make grown-up decisions when you never had the opportunity to make child decisions. Giving your kids literally whatever TF they ask for. Not believing a teacher when told the child is misbehaving. Kids need to be taught to be held accountable when they do something wrong and to have respect for teachers. Posting the child's entire life on social media. It's one thing to include a family picture with everyone. But putting a child's entire life online, without their consent, isn't good. Especially when it's about what they've done wrong. Public internet shaming is one of the worst things one can do to a child, because who knows whether that will follow that poor kid around for years. When the cyberbullying is coming from inside their own house, nowhere is safe. And that's not even getting to the people who prank their kids and make them miserable for the views. My neighbor's daughter is a crunchy mom, wannabe influencer. Daughter will not allow adjectives to be used when speaking with her toddler or baby. They are supposed to discover descriptive words through exploration of their environment. I'm sort of unclear on how they are supposed to discover words that are never spoken, like colors or size or shape. The social media trend. Some parents post literally everything on social media. People literally don't understand how predators, kidnappers and other people with ulterior motives might use that information. Sometimes parents even don't bother hiding sensitive information like their school name, bus timings, which can be so dangerous. As a grown-up, I would be disgusted if my embarrassing pictures were on the internet for everyone to see. Also, high school is tough and kids might get bullied over these pictures and videos. Letting your kids scream and jump around the restaurant while pretending it's not going on. My sister-in-law pre-0 occupies her kid, and has since birth with a tablet. He is now 12 and has no friends and 0 interpersonal skills. He takes his iPad to dinner, to grandma's, to church and never talks to anyone. It's very sad to see. Calling your children's private parts cutesy names like cookie and flower. There are so many cases of teachers and other adults completely missing signs of abuse because they assume the child is actually talking about a biscuit or a flower. I believe we should teach children the correct terminology at a young age, especially when those types of crimes regarding children are so common. I'm the parent, so I'm right. I do not in any way mean to coddle your kids. I am all for setting well-defined and well-explained boundaries. A kid should never be unsure about why they are being punished, and the punishment needs to be tailored to each kid to suit their age. It's all about making sure that your kid understands the rules, and to talk it out if there is something they disagree with. Respecting and listening to your kid is a good way to get respect and understanding back. Posting your kids on Instagram for the aesthetic, and just like using them as an accessory and having accounts dedicated to them and shit when they're not even old enough to consent to pictures of them up. It just seems like a gain for likes and it's an invasion of their personal space, privacy. Stop buying your kids everything. Little Tucker is 20 years old, never got his license or a job, isn't in school, and won't even mow the yard. He doesn't deserve a $2,000 computer, video game consoles, or an ATV. Removing doors when your kid asks for privacy, you just kind of prove why they want a door. Naming your kids after your favorite franchise characters. Results and appropriate names may vary. I am still in school, 14. But I think when you say anything about a girl they're like, ooh, is it your girlfriend? It really annoying. Momfluencers.